This is a clip from the Cannon podcast. To hear the full episode and get access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.
And talking about full-backs, Arsenal are targeting a right-back and maybe a left-back profile as well if Tierney needs to depart. But there is a name that has arrived that Arsenal fans have been surprised with, and they've had their own thoughts about it, as they always do. Leicester City's Timothy Castagne, Belgium international, I believe 27 years of age, 3 years of Premier League experience. He used to play for Atalanta as well, able to play on the left and right-hand sides. It was a surprise link, but he is going to be available because Leicester have been relegated, and I think he is a Premier League standard player, but can he play for Arsenal, George? Is he a calibre that Arsenal should be targeting? And actually, what do you make of the rumours in the first place?
Look, I understand it more than I think people would think. When I look at kind of Ivan Fresneda and what kind of profile he is, he wrongly gets interpreted as an inverted right back. That isn't his profile. You know, when you look, he can do the role, but he's really dynamic on the overlap. What is Castagna like ultimately as a profile? He gives you quite a bit in attacking areas, and he is a dynamic overlapper. He can hold the width. He's somebody that can absolutely fill in that area. The issue I've got is definitely the quality. Like, I understand the base layer of that he's a very kind of versatile attacker, let's say, when he's as an attacking fullback. But do I trust him in defensive situations? No. Do I think it's the quality that we should be looking at? No. So I got the profile link, but I didn't get the name. I don't think I got the quality. And again, having mentioned a certain Ivan Fresneda, who I believe is cheaper than Castagna, even relegated. I mean, he's got a £17 million release clause. I would imagine Leicester would ask minimum 20 to 25 million pounds for him. The question that you ask is, do you need a youth prospect in that position? Because both provide the versatility, right? But do you prefer somebody a little bit more defensively resolute, let's say with the same exciting attacking potential? That's the question that I kind of ask right now for myself. I understand kind of the Premier League experience aspect, but do we need that at right back, let's say, when our right back is a Premier League kind of proven colossus? Ben White has played so many seasons in the Premier League, and he's available. He's also not somebody that's routinely, unfit. So when I look at it in terms of the quality of games and what I need, really, do I need the experienced option to supplement the really youthful starter? That's not really our position right now. Ben White is kind of somebody that's approaching his prime level of play already. So when I look at it, I'm not looking for an experienced cuffer for cheap if I can buy a youth prospect for cheaper that I believe can work up to be a little bit more than that. And I think the thing that makes it easier for me is I don't look at Fresneda as somebody that can't play left back. He did. I don't know if people know this, but he played left wing back for Leguns before he kind of went to Valladolid. So this idea that, the choice of your youth prospect doesn't offer the same versatility isn't true. The only benefit I see with Castagna right now is that he's somebody that knows the league. And I've got an option right now that plays 90% of games and is reliable, by the way, for multiple seasons of doing so. So for me, I'm looking more at maybe beating the market slightly better. But I do think fans need to maybe not look at the name and be shocked, I would say, just because of what he offers kind of on the overlap. I saw it. I saw the link. I just don't agree with the quality. And I think there's better for cheaper.
You're right. The profile we are looking for is definitely to add some more attack-minded overlaps going forwards, because you've got Ben White and he is so good and so reliable, as you did say. But Alex, do you then believe Castagne could maybe fit into the Arsenal team, or is there another more attack-minded fullback that you might want to see Arsenal sign instead?
Yeah, I think I'd probably align with George in terms of the idea that there is better for cheaper. However, I also think we need to look at this, take a little step back and think about this. Arsenal will have a list of players somewhere on Edu's laptop, wherever it is, right? Where they will be saying, right, here's the profile that we're looking for this summer. And here's all not even that. Here's a load of situations that could happen. There'll be some things that are not affected. Like, I think our pursuit of, let's say, a midfielder, Carbohydrate, will not be affected by whatever happens. But I think at fullback, things, Kieran Tierney might go. We're worried about Tomiyasu's fitness, etc., etc. There's a number of situations, and I imagine we're planning for a number of scenarios. Then we have a list of players who can fill a certain profile. What happens is, of course, clubs will go to agents and say, "Hey, is there any interest in this player? Can we? We're not going to make a bid yet, but, would they be interested in the move? What's their situation? Are they speaking to any other clubs? How would we approach that? What would the expectations be, etc., etc., etc.? Those conversations have to happen in order for the deal to go through. We've been talking to Rice for months. You don't just knock on the door and go, hey, here's 19 million quid. You have conversations to see what it would take and blah, 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 blah. Then what happens is you get links to the media. Arsenal are in for Castagna. I don't want Castagna. Well, chill out. Hang on. It's fine. It doesn't mean that we're going to go and move for him. I imagine he's an option on the list. Now, then you ask yourself, what scenario would I want a Castagna in? If we cannot get a Fresneda, if we're dealing with a kind of deadline day or a late departure of a Kieran Tierney, for example, and again, this is about window strategy, which we might come to later, but because we have assets to sell, there's no point waiting for an extra £500,000 on a Kolasinac. There is a point waiting for an extra 10 million on a Kieran Tierney by pushing it to the end of the window, right? So we might be in a situation where the Tierney goes or someone gets injured or whatever, where we're going, actually now we do need someone who, and let's make the case for Castagna, can play both sides, is actually pretty defensively okay. I'm looking at the on Cannon stats on Twitter. They have Timothy Castagna as something like the 9th best right back in the league, above quite a lot of decent players, above Aaron Hickey, by the way, who we pursued last summer. Defensively and going forward, he actually profiles pretty well. Now, look, do I think Castagna is the future of Arsenal Football Club? No. But we are in this mindset a little bit because we're slightly a project club at the moment, and I want us to transition out of that every player we sign needs to be the future of the position. They don't. It's fine if for a season we get someone in who is hopefully, a decent price. We can sell them on for a similar price next summer, and they come in and provide backup for a season or an option for a season. I think it's fine. Jorginho might go. We might see a lot more of these deals where actually there's a gap in the squad. We need something. This player isn't perfect, but they're not going to be here for 15 years. Not every player is going to be for 15 years. In conclusion, don't love Castagna. I think he's fine. I think he offers you something slightly different. I like his positional versatility, and I imagine also his height's quite nice as well. And also, frankly, all that said, if Arteta thinks he's a good player, who am I to say? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, because, a prime example of Arsenal doing it, obviously Trossard and Jorginho, but even Pep's done it, Pep, for what Man City are and the project they are and fighting for a treble, Manuel Kanji, when he was signed, was a player that even when Arsenal fans were linked to, we weren't too sure about him. We're like, 27 years of age, not really the future, he's a bit cheap. I think fans nowadays but they want expensive signings for them to actually get excited about it.
Well, I wonder whether it's expensive. I agree they do want expensive signings, but I also think we always think when we're signing a player, well, what does that mean for the future? What does that mean for 3, 5, 10 years down the line? Don't worry about it. Because things change. Things change within 6 months. Things change within games. There'll be someone in pre-season that comes in, has a nice little touch, and that clip goes around Twitter, and everyone goes, oh my God, Mauro Bandera is the future of Arsenal Football Club. Things change like that.
But he actually is, though.
He is. But I haven't watched him enough. But you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So if we're in a situation towards the end of August, we haven't got Tierney out the window, out the door, then he does go, and we're like, we're a little bit short, and Castagna's available for 10 million or 15 million, do it. Because otherwise we're short for what reason? What's the point?
Do you know what it strikes
the
me?
future of the position.
Yeah, do you know what it strikes me as, though? Under the context, if this was a January window signing, are fans as surprised? Probably not.
Thanks for checking out the Cannon Podcast. To get full episodes and access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.